The U.S. dollar is going straight down. That's what our guest, Louis Navellier, says. Hello, Louis. How are you?
I'm good.
Now, Louis, you have a lot of concerns about the dollar these days. We've been seeing some weakness over the last few weeks after we had a nice period of dollar rebound. What do you see?
Well, first of all, I want you to know the dollar rebound was essentially the world's biggest short squeeze. The dollar and the yen rallied in tandem from July to early this year. You probably heard about the $2 trillion hedge fund industry. The truth is the $2 trillion hedge fund industry was leveraged anywhere from 7 to 15 times in bonds. And so as that industry shrank, they had to dump bonds in the world market, and they did a lot of those carry trades where they borrowed in Japan, the US, and went elsewhere like Brazil, New Zealand, and Australia. So it was really the unwinding of the carry trades that sent the dollar and the yen higher. And that's over. But also what's happening is we are the most fiscally irresponsible country outside of Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe's first, their deficit is 80% of GDP, we're 13.7, and the UK is 12.4. The UK is a case study for what's now happening to us. In Britain, they auction off government debt to pay their deficits just like we do. Over there they're called gilt auctions. They have failed, and then they can't complete them all. Mervyn King, who's head of the Bank of England, has called Gordon Brown and says, stop spending money, we don't have it. You might have seen Gordon Brown get a tongue lashing at the EU Parliament for being fiscally irresponsible. And the only difference between us and the UK is our debt is more than theirs. Now, we can push it because we're a reserve currency of the world, but you may also know that some of our investors, like China, have abandoned us.
Well, they haven't really abandoned us completely. They've said they're going to diversify their holdings, haven't they?
They actually, if you look at foreign inflows, they abandoned us. January was the first time we had foreign outflows. You know, our country's always had these trade deficits. And it's never been a problem. The money sloshes around the United States, whether it buys real estate or treasury, it's not a problem. We had foreign capital fleeing in January. The money is gone. China has gone to gold. They've gone to copper. They're investing in commodities. They're ticked at us. Geithner called them a currency manipulator, and they want guarantees. Now, I want to be honest with you. Stephen Colbert, the comedian, had a solution. Mr. Colbert suggested that we give China Oregon. The joke in the bond desk is that China's holding out for California. And the other joke is if they run California like Hong Kong, it'll fix the state's budget woes. But on a serious note, we're having treasury auctions. They're getting bigger and bigger. We just had one, a $71 billion weekly auction. It was a disaster. The Fed is now printing up to $1.25 trillion in quantitative easing to buy the notes and bonds because the foreigners won't buy it. The bid to cover ratio of the treasury auction has gone from over 3 to 1 to sometimes less than 2 to 1. Yields are rising. What's going on is called a shell game. The treasury issues the debt, the Fed buys it. We're losing credibility in the world. 46 cents of every dollar the U.S. government spends is now borrowed. So
why, if that's all true, very quickly, why hasn't the dollar fallen more? I mean, it's still like 130, you know, in the 130s against the euro. It's about 150 in the pound. It's held up not too badly given that nightmare scenario.
Well, it started to crack when Geithner embarrassed himself at a preliminary G20 meeting when he wanted to everybody do a new stimulus program, and Germany and France and our allies said, no, we don't spend money we don't have. We tried that years ago. We had hyperinflation, especially in Germany. Obviously, Mr. Obama has a lot of goodwill in the world. There's a kind of a glow. Mr. Obama's taken some of his critics and agreed to have special summits with him, but the dollar was at 124 against the euro. It's at 135 and rising. It's probably going to 145.
Thank you. We were speaking with Louis Navellier on the MoneyShow.com video network.